Good morning, or I should say, Grand Rising. Grand Rising. I'm Maycha'al, your host, and welcome to Truth Matters Broadcasting. Truth Matters Broadcasting, where we discern the truth about religion, the kingdom of the only true God, and the church. Welcome, welcome, special welcome. All right, as I begin this morning, um, this grand rising. We're coming to you live from the wonderful beautiful islands of the Philippines, where we are now located. We're broadcasting live over a series of various networks, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Of course, you can follow me on these social media at Maycha'al Ban Ya Al. I do have another YouTube channel called Now Living in the Philippines. Now Living in the Philippines. This is a channel that I've created for you to see how we're living here in the Philippines and to give you, a first-hand view of what it's like, for those who will be leaving the land of our enslavement because you believe in the prophecies and you understand the truth about who you are. If you can trace your lineage to the Atlantic slave trade, then you will know that you are of the truth, the true bloodline, the true bloodline. You are of the true bloodline of the covenant seed, the covenant promise seed of the Creator, made with Abraham and his descendants forever. You must understand, if you can trace your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are, you are without a doubt the true so-called Israelites. Now, for an understanding for those who are watching today, we're not Israelites. We're not Hebrew Israelites. I do not want you to be confused. I do not want you to be mistaken. We are not Hebrew Israelites. We are Ya'osher Ya'osher, Prince with Ya'o, Prince with. Um, it simply means we're sons and daughters of the true creator. Now we have his name, and his true name is Yahweh. Yahweh. Y-A apostrophe O-H. Now, the spelling of the name is the pronunciation of the name. That's what's most important. It's the pronunciation. His name is Yahweh. And it cannot be transliterated or obliterated, that I would say, transliterated, or transobliterated. No name can be translated. It should be the name by which it is called. If you looked at the names of the gods, the so-called gods of the Old Testament, and even today, their names are still the same. No matter what time or era of time you're living in, all the names of the gods of old have not been translated or transliterated. That is why today we know of the name Baal or Babal or Marduk or Ra or Zeus. These names has been their names from the time we know of their names till today. Here are some names of other gods that you've used every day, but you don't know that these are names of gods. Here are some names for you. Sunday, Sunday, yes. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. These are name of gods. You just didn't know it. No one taught you that. You weren't looking for it. So you wouldn't find these answers. You wouldn't understand these truths. But everything I say here today, you can actually Google it. You can actually Google it, you'll find it. The only thing you probably won't be able to find about some of the things that I'm saying is you won't be able to find prophecies, because prophecies are meant only for those who understand who he is as creator and who you are as the creation are the sons. This is why the creator make the statement, or make the proclamation that my people who are called by my name. This is very important. Today we have so many different names. We have Jesus, Jehovah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yah. All these names, Yahawashai. There's so much to choose from if you're trying to figure out who this creator is. Well, your troubles are over, because we have a prophet among us. We have a prophet that was handpicked by the creator for this time. You can find him in the book of Isaiah 46, verse 11, who is called the ravenous bird. He was ordained by the creator for this time to bring us restoration, not only of his name, the true name of the creator, but also of the people of the creator. So for more information on this, you can go to YouTube. He does have a YouTube channel called The Ravenous Bird. So go check out The Ravenous Bird on YouTube. Look up the true name of the creator, and you will find historical facts and evidence right there to prove the name Yahweh, the name that was taken from us by the creator because of our disobedience and sold us into slavery. Next, look up Brought by Ships. Brought by Ships. Now, the reason why I want you to watch Brought by Ships is because you will see without a doubt why we know for certain that if you can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, that you are without a doubt the covenant seed of the promise between the creator and his friend Abraham, and we, his descendants, forever. Those who are impersonating us, who live in the promised land, call themselves Jews but are not the true people. And I've proved that many, many times. They would never be able to last. The recessive skin would never be able to last in the wilderness of Egypt, in the desert of Egypt, under a taskmaster's whip, as slave for over 250 years. They'll never be able to last. You put any white person right now, any white person in the desert heat for 24 hours, for 12 hours, and see what happened to their skin. They'll never be able to last. And here's also more evidence. Those who are calling themselves Jews, who lived in the promised land today, do not have a 400-year history of enslavement. They don't have a 400-year history of enslavement. You got to rule them out. And thirdly, another way to prove that they are not the people of the book, they have not been brought by ships and scattered amongst the nation. They have not been brought by ships and scattered amongst the nation. These are three definite clues that you can use to rule in or out those who are perpetrating to be Jews, to be the true people of Yahusha, the true people of the book. Now, you heard me said earlier that we are not Hebrew Israelites. There are a group of black people out there today who are holding to the understanding that they are the true people of the book. Now, some of these people can trace their lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. There's no if, ands, or but. about it. So by blood right, they are in some cases. What they teach, however, is totally different from what is prophesied and what is written. Number one, they believe that, if that Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and different ethnicity Canadians are also part of the 12 tribes of Ya'osha'al. We disprove that by knowing for certain the only way you can have a relationship to the truth of who you are as the true people of the Creator, you must be able to go through the Atlantic slave trade. If you cannot trace your lineage through it, then you are not of the bloodline seed. You may be able to trace your lineage to Abraham. You may be able to do that because Abraham had a child, which is Ishmael, Yaoshmael, Ishmael, who was of the bloodline or seed of Abraham, but not of the covenant seed. See, Isaac was the covenant seed. And when Isaac had twin boys, one Esau and one Jacob, Esau can chase his lineage through his father Isaac, through his grandfather Abram, but he is not of the covenant seed. You must understand these things. It goes through Jacob, Yaakov. It goes through Jacob. And Jacob has 12 boys with 4 different women. Those 12 boys and the 2 sons, his 2 grandsons, make up the 13 tribe of Ya'osha'al. Okay? The 13 tribes. So if you add the 12 boys, but you minus Joseph, because if you notice, Joseph is not counted amongst the 12 tribes. You notice that? Joseph, there's no tribe of Joseph. You notice that? His 2 boys became adopted sons that makes up the 12. So Joseph is excluded, which brings it to 11. And the 2 boys who came in now makes it 13 tribes. There are 13 tribes of Ya'osha'al. However, the tribe of Levite, aka Loeb, their actual true name, Gabaric biblical name, is Loeb or Loam. Levite is set apart to Yahweh. The tribe of Levite is set apart unto Yahweh, and they have absolutely no possessions. It's raining high here in the Philippines. Beautiful. No possessions. Yahweh was their possession. The priestly wood was their possession. The service to Yahweh was their possession. And that's why we call it the 12th tribe. If you know, when the Messiah was here, he chose 12 disciples. 12 disciples he chose, right? 12 disciples representing the 12 tribes of Ya'osha'al. But what makes him? You see, he was from the tribe of Yaodah, aka Judah, right? So the Messiah plus the 12 is 13. There's a lot of things about 13 you don't know, but we're not talking about that today. We're actually going to talk about which God. The title of today's message for you is Which God? Because it's very important to understand there are more than one God, ladies and gentlemen. There are more than one God. Now, I know this sounds crazy to you, but it's true. There are more than one gods that people worship. But there's only one true God. And I think if you understand this, then you won't be ignorant to the message I have for you today. The Creator himself said, "Thou shalt not worship any other gods before me." So if there weren't other so-called gods, why would the Creator himself acknowledge that there are more than one God that is worshiped today. This is very important. This is very important. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, the Creator identify himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why? Why would he identify himself as the God of our forefathers, of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the world in its rebellion does not worship the Creator. And so, my attempt here is to take you through our history. Now, I went on a guy's show yesterday on TikTok, he, and the title of his show is Your God is an Imagination. Your God is an Imagination is his title of the show. And I thought it was very interesting. I was like, Your God is imagination. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Your God is imagination. Prove me wrong. And I thought it was an interesting title, an interesting topic. Your God is imagination. Prove me wrong. So I went on this show not to disprove him or to prove my God to him, but I went on his show yesterday because I wanted to get an understanding of where he was coming from. And what I realized and what I saw is that he was a Christian for 20 plus years. So he was a believer. He was a man of God, so-called, for 20 plus years. And I guess he got to the place where he's realizing, man, something is wrong. A lot of death. He talks about the Creator in the Bible kills a lot of children and kill a lot of people and so on and so forth. And over the years, his mind has just gone from believing the Creator as God. And basically, he said, which I respect about the guy, which I respect about him. He says, if someone can prove it to me, then maybe I would believe. He believed that there is a God. He does believe that there is a God out there, but he doesn't believe that that God is the God of the Bible, right? That there's another God out there, but it's not of the Bible. And many people have believed that as well. And there are people who've gone through religion and just been doing that mundane thing week after week after week, the same old ritual after week, and no real experience, no real answers, no real understanding. And therefore, they're left to wander around in the wilderness for 40 years, not realizing that there is a true God. So they turn their attention to that which is of their own imagination. That's why the scripture said at one point, everyone did that which was right in their own eyes. And something I've learned just reading the scriptures and understanding the scriptures is that all a man's ways seems right to him. All of your ways seems right to you. I mean, come on. After all, it's your idea and your experience, and no one is taking that from you. You have the right to feel and believe whatever you want to feel and believe. You think about a child born into your house. Here's a child born into your house. He's under your rule. He or she's under your rule, and you're take care of this child. You get to indoctrinate that child based on the way you were brought up and based on the way you want that child to be brought up. And so the child is under your leadership, under your government, under your authority. But according to the structure of the world, is the child reach 18 years old. According to the structure of the world, when the child is 18 years old, that child now have the right to decide for him or herself. So that child now decide, I do not want to be under your authority. I do not want to abide by your rules. I want to think for myself. So the child leaves your house because he knows or she knows that she cannot be her own man or own woman in your house, in spite of the freedom that you may give that child. That child knows he will never or she will never be totally free of your authority until they actually move out. And that's why you see our children move out of our house. And that in itself right there too is also ignorance, because the scripture teaches us the reason for a man to leave his father and mother is to be united to his wife. That is the only reason why a son and daughter should move. You look at the world today. You know that you are better and stronger if you're four strong. A cord of three strong is not easily broken. But the system of this world designed to get you to tear your family apart. But life is becoming so hard now that if you don't notice that you need to come together and become a strong unit, you're going to be even greater devastated, especially for Black families, because it was prophesied against you now here in this world that in the year 2050, and I don't think it's going to take that long either. In the year 2050, it was prophesied against you that the wealth of the Black family will be zero. Don't you see that this world is against you? You live in a world that is against you. You can't see it because you're being duped. You think you have freedom. You think you're free from enslavement, and that you're free from the curse, but you're not free from the curse, because the one that puts you under the curse is still in charge. You're under a curse because the Creator puts you there. That's why the world happens to you. That's why the world treats you as less than human. Even though you were emancipated, you were not free. You were just transferred. You're still a slave. You're not a nation. You're not a country. You don't have your own government. You can't even come together as a body, as one. Imagine where all your dollars are going. Starting in church. You know how much millions of dollars is collected every Sunday and every Saturday? Where's your money going? The same money you're giving to your church as tithe is the same money that is gentrifying you. Did you know that? It's the same money that's being used against you. You take your money and you buy fashion. You know how much money you spend on these clothes and liquor and makeup, on freaking liquid soap. You don't understand how you're being used and bamboozled. And you're designed to work like a cattle. Nothing you own is yours. Nothing. You own nothing, and you'll be happy. So when you understand the truth about who you are and why these things are happening to you, you must understand that every Black man that you see today, Black woman that you see today, that is making it in this world, have to sell themselves out, either through a government, an entity, a secret society, or a religion. And I make this bold, broad statement to you many, many times, but I don't think some of you get it. You keep coming back, but I don't think you get it. Some of you won't get it. And I know I'm not here to win all of you. I know it. It's just a few. I keep telling you that no government on earth, ladies and gentlemen, no government on earth. I keep telling you, you put this mic up a little closer to my mouth so you can hear me. I keep telling you, no government on earth, no kingdoms on earth, no nation on earth, this planet Earth that you live on, no religion on this planet Earth, and no church on this planet that worship the Creator. They worship gods. They worship gods, but they don't worship the Creator. And the way to prove that is to just put up the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments. Just put it up and ask yourself the question, show me a government, kingdom, nation, religion, or church on earth that keep all 10 Commandments written with the finger of the Creator. Show me. Now, I know you might say, well, the Seventh-day Adventists come really close because they keep the Shabbat. And most of Christendom doesn't keep the Shabbat. But first and foremost, you must understand some basic truth here. The Shabbat is not from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That's not the true Shabbat. You see, it's a day to a day. Only one Shabbat is kept from Friday sundown to from sundown to sundown. One Shabbat. If you look at Leviticus chapter 23, you will see that Torah 3:23, you will see there's only one Shabbat that is kept from sundown to sundown, and that is the Day of Atonement. That's the only Shabbat. The Passover, that's the only Shabbat, ladies and gentlemen. Sundown to sundown. Every other Shabbat, every other feast days is kept during any time on any other day, right? But the seventh day Shabbat is kept from sun up Saturday morning to sun up Sunday morning. It's a 24-hour span because the sun governs the entire world, and the Shabbat is for the entire world. It's not for just half of the world at a time. And that's why when this half is keeping the Shabbat, the next half is preparing for it. And when the next half is preparing for it, we are resting and sleeping while they're Shabbating, because it's called a day of rest and holy convocation. So it's from sun up Saturday morning to sun up. So no church is doing that right now. No church is doing that. And all of Christendom, listen to me and hear what I'm saying. All of Christendom does not worship a single God. They say they worship a single God by saying he's three in one, three distinct persons in one Godhead. I want you to show me that anywhere in Scripture. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand something. The Creator is one, always have been and always will be. Never at any time did he announce or proclaim himself as a triune God, three in one. All of Christendom worship a triune God. Now, if you look at the Islamic the Islamic religion, they worship a single God, but not the God of Abraham. They worship a God named Allah. See, it's very important. It's very important to understand which God you worship, because worship is obedience. And the God that I worship, Yahweh, the God that Maycha'al worships, is the God who says the seventh day is his Shabbat. And we keep it from sun up Saturday to sun up Sunday. We worship the God Yahweh, the God of the Hebrew, the God of Maycha'al. And so I want to open up your eyes to a better understanding of who you might be worshiping or who you think you're worshiping. Now, I'm not here to preach against any religion and any of your belief system. That is why my program here is to specifically reach those who can trace their lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, because you are trapped within all religion. You are trapped within all belief system. You are trapped. And so it is my job to bring you the message as a warning against you, not to convert you. If you think I'm here to convert you, man, you have no idea who Maycha'al is. The Creator told me a long time ago, my message is not to convert, because I don't have the power to convert. The only way you can be converted is He open your eyes so you can see. So I pray today that He opens your eyes, that He remove the scale from it, and He open your ears so you can hear. Because He's getting ready to do something starting in the year 2025 that is going to devastate the world. The world at large will never be the same. The power structure of the world will crumble. Within the next 98 years, time and half a time, you're going to see the world power structure crumbling, and you're going to see the true people of the book, the true covenant seed, the true Maycha'al, who is now taken into the wilderness. There they will be nourished for a time, time, and half a time. You're going to see that nation become powerful. You're going to see their war chants and their songs that is will create disaster upon this planet. Just like the walls of Jericho when we were commanded to march around it. And at the end of the march, make a shout. The children of Ya'oshur-al are making shout in the wilderness. We are chanting. Wana patste paka, go aim. We are chanting, and every time we chant, a disaster happens around the world. The power structure, those who sold us into slavery will get their full due. You can read Revelations 18. Revelation 18 is all about you, ladies and gentlemen, of the transatlantic, who can trace their lineage through the transatlantic slave trade. It's all about you. Come out of her, my people, that you may not be partakers of her plagues and of her sins, because her sin have reached up to heaven, and Yahweh will remember her and give her a double portion. So for the 2 or 3 of you who are listening right now, I pray that this message will move you to action. Go watch The Ravenous Bird, I told you earlier, on YouTube. Look up Leave on Wings. I'm telling you guys, it's not time to play. All right, let's get with it. First thing first, the topic is witch god. And this is important because in the creation of the heavens and the earth, there were only one God. That is why the Bible begins with in the beginning. Now, when it says in the beginning, it's not the beginning of the creator himself. He has no beginning nor no end. We don't have the capacity to even think beyond the beginning, to even think beyond and understand beyond that which is revealed. You see, Deuteronomy, Surah 5:29 and verse 29 states, the secret things belongs to the Creator, belongs to Yahweh, our God. But that which is revealed belongs to us and our children. So there's some things that about the Creator that we're not going to know yet. But we will know, and the heathens will know. Everyone will know, because this is his thing. This is his pleasure. Whatever you may think, whatever that's going on in your mind, this is for his pleasure, for his glory, for his people. He set the setup. He sets the setup. And whether you like the setup or not, whether you like how things are going or not, it's irrelevant. He has full authority also in the affairs of men. He's the one who is handling all of it. There's no devil on the left trying to fight the Father or the Creator on the right. All is under his command. There's no human being on the planet that has more power than the Creator. They don't have power to do anything other than that which the Creator allows to happen for his glory. They are working for the Creator. And I know, yes, disease, pestilence, murder, theft, all these things are the result of disobedience. And this, he said, I will put a evil ruler over an evil country. All these things is happening because man choose not to worship the Creator, not to obey the Creator, not to give him glory as God, as Elohim. And therefore, the world is polluted. The world is under a curse. And so Deuteronomy 29:29 teaches us the secret things belongs to the who? To the Creator. But that which is revealed belongs to us and our children. Amos chapter 3 teaches us that the secret things that belong to the Creator is given to his servants, the prophets. So if you want to know the secret things, it's not given to the world at large. It's not given to the government, to the kingdoms of this world, to the nations of this world, or religion of this world. It's not given to those so-called false pastors and preachers of this world. It's given to the servant, the prophet. So you must find his prophets. And they are written in Old Testament. Old Testament. But there is a prophet that is given to us for our time, and that prophet is the ravenous bird, ladies and gentlemen. And I will read here in Yeshayahu, aka uh, um, aka Isaiah 40, Isaiah 40, sorry, Isaiah 46 and let's start in verse 8. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh. See, they put God here. God is a title, but his name is what needs to be here. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me. Listen to that. There is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning. He's declaring the end from the beginning. If you notice, he didn't say, I declare the beginning from the end. Whatever he starts, he's already finished. He knows the outcome. He declares the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel, listen, my counsel shall stand, and I will do my pleasure. You remember I told you, ladies and gentlemen, all that is happening is for the pleasure of the Creator. He will do his pleasure, whether you like it or not. It's all for his pleasure. Watch this now. Verse 11, calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that execute my counsel from a far country. Yes, I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. Hearken unto me, you stout-hearted, that are far from righteousness. I bring near my righteousness. It shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. And I will place salvation in Theon, verse aka Zion, for Ya'oshua, my glory. So he's doing this for his glory. But who is his glory? His people. His glory is us. And he's doing something for us, by us, in us, and through us. That's why the ravenous bird has to be a black man that can trace his lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. Now, I know a lot of people believe that Cyrus is this ravenous bird, but I'm going to ask you a simple question here. Just a simple question. Cyrus the Great, did he worship the Creator? Could never worship the Creator. You know why? Because the Creator's command is that you have no other gods before him. How many gods did Cyrus the Great of Persia had? How many gods did they worship? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So Cyrus the Great was not given to worship of the Creator, but to do a single task: free the people. That was his task, to free the people, to send them back home, to rebuild the walls and rebuild the temple. Did Cyrus the Great restore the counsels of the Creator? Did he restore the covenant? Did he restore the everlasting covenant? Did he restore the laws and the Torah and Thayota of the Creator? No, he did not. This ravenous bird will declare, this ravenous bird, what he says? Verse 11, calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that execute my counsel from a far country. What is his counsels? His decrees, his laws, his commands. If you look at the history of our people, every time they go away from the counsels of Yahweh, what happened? He sent them into slavery, disaster. He utterly beat their behinds and kill a whole lot, man, women, and children. Yes, the Creator kills. but he always left a remnant. And he left a remnant to fulfill his covenant to his friend Abram for his namesake, not for ours, for his namesake. So once I point that out, now the Creator has some secrets, and he only revealed them to his servants, the prophet. And so if you want to know the truth about the Creator, you got to go to the servants, the prophet. Now that you understand this, the New Testament from I'd say from, well, all of the translation of the New Testament has nothing to do with a prophet. But I'm not going to go into all of that right now because I don't want to take your mind from which God you're worshiping. Some of you call Jesus God. Some of you call Jesus God. And some of you believe that he is part of the triune God who came down on earth and died on a cross for the sins of the world. There's a couple things that you have to take a look at that you did not see before because you're ignorant, you're caught in religion, just like I was. Is first and foremost, if Jesus, the God man you claim, or the religion claim, is the son of the creator God who was fully human being. He was fully human because he in himself, when he came back from the dead, he says, if you understand in the so-called New Testament, because I know it, in the book of John, where it tells you that the creator is a spirit, and indeed that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. When the Messiah came back from the dead, he told his disciples, touch me. He said, a spirit does not have flesh and blood like you see me have. So if he is God, he certainly wasn't a spirit when he came back from the dead. These are some clues. You must look again also in John 17, where he tells us point blank that the Father alone is God. And listen, I do not believe in the so-called New Testament because you got to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it is said there on the title at the top of your book, this book is written according to John, according to Matthew, according to Luke, according to Mark. That means there's no disciple named Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, because those are English names. So there's no disciple by those names. And you have to also understand that the first of the gospel were written some 40 to 50 years after the fact. So the New Testament is a compilation of books that have been written for some 100 years after the ascension of the true Messiah, whose name is Yahweh, which means the creator. Yahweh alone, by himself, all by himself, is salvation. The name represents, the name is a sign, it's a mark. The name itself points to the one who is salvation. There's no salvation in the name itself. The salvation is in the person who is creator and father of us all. The Messiah, the so-called Messiah that they call Jesus, also tells us in John 3 that the Father alone, like I said before, is the only. Now, when you use the word only, you're signifying one number. There's no other like that person. So the Messiah who you call God is telling you that there is no God but one. Right? He also calls the Father his God. You can find that all over the so-called New Testament. When he came back from the grave, let's go when he's on the cross, when he's on the so-called tree, and he yelled out in a loud voice, Eloi, Eloi, Saba Baxkadidi, if I said that right, in Aramaic. He cried out, my God, why have thou forsaken me? So if he is a God, then he certainly has a God. When he came back from the grave and Miriam tried to grab a hold on him, said, do not touch me, because I have not ascended to my Father. But go tell my disciples, go tell my brothers, my brethren, that's what it means, brothers, that I ascend, I'm going up to my God and their God, my Father and their Father. That means the Messiah and us have the same God. The Messiah and us have the same Father. When he was in the house and he was preaching, and his mother and brothers and sisters came to, and someone came in and said, hey, your mother and your brother and your sister is outside and they seek an audience with you. What did he say? He said, who are my mother and my brothers and my sister? Pointing to his disciples, he said, there they are. They that do the will of my Father is my mother, my brother, and my sister, making us one with him. And that's why when he prayed that we are one, that's what he was talking about. Because most people say, I and the Father are one, so he's saying him and God is one. That's not what he's saying. They're one in purpose. Because down further in that very same scripture, he said, we are one. May we all be one. I in you and you in them. May we all be one, that the world will know that you sent me. So we're all one in him. Does that make me God? Am I God? But in no stretch of the form of the way, I am not God. I am not God. I'm a son of God because I've joined myself to him and because I've choose to obey him. The blood in me, though I can trace my lineage, though you can, pardon me, trace your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, and you have the bloodline, does not gives you the right to be saved. Salvation comes through obedience. Because you see, I could be a disobedient son, like I was telling you earlier. Once my kid become 18, they go on their own. They forget my laws. They forget about me. They live in their own life. Now they're in control of their own life because they're not under my authority. So whose authority are you under? You're under the authority of the one who you obeys. Who's telling you what to do? Who's telling you how to think? Who's telling you what to believe? And who are you obeying? Because you are the servant of the one you obey. As for me and my house, we choose to obey Yahweh. So now that I set the introduction for you, now that I set the understanding for you, now let's go look at which God you're worshiping. Okay, this is important. If you're worshiping a triune God, you're not worshiping the true God of Maycha'al. If you're worshiping on Sunday, if any day of the week that is not the seventh day of the week, that you're holding a holy convocation and a day of rest, other than the Shabbat day, the true Shabbat day, which start Saturday morning and Sunday morning, you are worshiping another God. The true worshipers must worship him his way. You can't worship him your way. You have to worship him his way. The true worshiper worship him his way by his word. That's worship. And so we're going to go back to the beginning now to take a look before we do that, before we go back to the beginning. I want to read a scripture here in Isaiah 45 and verse 4. For the sake of my servant Ya'o-Kaab, aka Jacob, and Ya'osheral, my chosen. You must understand who he's talking to. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. Who is the creator talking to? You know, when the Messiah was here, who was black, by the way, not that white guy, blonde hair, blue eyes. Oh, let me just touch on Jesus again. If Jesus is the name given by which you must be saved, the name Jesus, just the name, just the name, whether you think he's white or black, blue or Gentiles or green or purple, just the name Jesus. If that's the name given by which you must be saved, how is it that the letter J, which is the beginning spelling of that name, was not given until the year 1524? You can Google that. 1524, there was no Jesus. The year 1524 is when the letter J come into existence. We get our English translation of the New Testament from the Greek manuscript. Did we not? We get our English translation of the New Testament from the Greek manuscript. How comes they didn't use the name Jesus for the name that was given by which we must be saved? Now I heard a guy said, I don't care what name he's called. I'm not Greek, I'm not Hebrew, I'm English, and in English they call his name Jesus. Therefore, you're worshiping a false god. You're worshiping an identity of a person who, if you were to call that person by the name Jesus, he would not know what you're talking about, because there was no name Jesus at the time when he walks the earth. You understand what I'm saying? That's like somebody calling me Jesus. Now, right now, I look at them like, that's not my name. Why? Because that's not my name that was given at my birth. The name that was given to him was not Jesus. The meaning of the name is still there, but the name itself is wrong. His name was Ya'osheal, not Jesus. Ya'osheal. That's his name. It's not Yeshua. So these are things that you got to understand. So the image of the man you worship and the name of the man you worship is a false identity and false entity that has deceived the world, because even the Muslim believe in Jesus. It's written in their book. So eventually the Muslims are going to worship Jesus, because even in their book it says that he's the word and the word is God. So going back to Isaiah 45 and verse 4, for the sake of my servant Jacob and Ya'osheral my chosen, I called you by your name. I name you. Though you do not know me, I am Yahweh, and there is none other. There is no other. Besides me, there is no God. I equip you, though you do not know me, that people may know from the rising of the sun and from the west, that there is none beside me. Now, why he call us by name? So that we may know him, and that the people of this earth will know who he is through us. He says, I am Yahweh and there is no other. I form light and create darkness. I make well-being and create calamity. I am Yahweh who does all these things. Who do you think sending disaster on the planet? Who do you think sending pestilence on the planet? Who do you think allowing wars to happen on this planet? Who do you think allowing death and murder to happen on this planet? It is Yahweh because of disobedience. Besides him, there's no other. So if Jesus you worship, go ahead. I'm not here to tell you not to worship him. Keep doing it. You're going to see later on. You're going to understand. And that's why this message is for those who can trace their lineage to the Atlantic slave trade and those who have joined themselves to him, to be his servant, to love his name, to keep his Shabbat. Everyone who keeps the Shabbat and take hold of his covenant. Isaiah 56 is for you. So I'm speaking to you as well. All right. So when you understand this, you're coming into an awareness. You're coming into awareness now about these other gods and where they come from. So the world was created by the creator, Genesis 1. And if you read Genesis 1 to of the creation, 1 and 2 of the creation, it's beautiful. All in righteousness, all for the pleasure of the creator. But then he did something. He did something. He put a tree in the midst of the garden. And he called it the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It is the creator that put that tree there. It wasn't the devil. We know from Isaiah 14 what happened. But then again, we're dealing with a mistranslation here. Whatever it is, he says he created calamity. He created what he says? He said it right here. I just read it. I form light and create darkness. That means good and evil. He created good and he created evil. That's the reality. That's the truth. The devil didn't create evil. The creator created evil. I created good and he created evil. Light and darkness. Watch this. I make well-being and create calamity. He's the one who is doing all of it. I am Yahweh who does all these things. That's what he said. He said, I do all these things for his pleasure. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's fair or not, you don't own this world. You don't own anything in this world. You came in empty, you're going to leave empty. No matter how much wealth you mask, how much knowledge you mask, it's all going to the grave. So it's all for his purpose. So I don't care how you feel. I don't care what you think. Oh, he killed babies. Hey, so what? He can do what he does. You accept it or you don't. It is what it is. And it's high time that we get a grip of that. Because you see, religion will teach you about this soft, easy. Listen, he's a merciful God. He's a forgiving God. But he's dealing with a nation. We don't forget that he takes the nation of Maycha'al and murder, kill off 7 nations that is extinct today. They're not on the planet because they were wiped out by your ancestors. The Amorites, the Amalekites, the Perizzites, the Jubilees, they all gone. The only reason why the other nations are left amongst us is to test us because of our disobedience. We would have been ruling this planet. We would have been kings on this earth and queens on this earth. Because we'll be ruling in righteousness through him. But we don't understand. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the reason for this is that you have a choice. You see, ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice. He gave you a choice. So when he put the tree in the midst of the garden, he created man in purity, in his holiness, in his righteousness. They knew neither good nor evil. They knew not death. They were made to live eternally, connected to the Savior, which is Yahweh. But when they disobeyed, they disconnect. You see, ladies and gentlemen, death and disaster and sin and disobedience come through the fact that they choose not to obey the Creator. And that's why he put a tree in the midst of the garden to test the loyalty of men. He knew we were going to fail. He could have not put the tree there. We could have lived happily ever after. But does he want robot? You know why you have choice? Because he gave you that choice. Imagine if you have a woman or a man that you love, that you force or make to love you. They do everything you want, whenever you want it, because you've made them to love you. How long would you be happy? How long would you be happy if you make a woman love you? If you make a man do what you want him to do for you? How long would you be happy with that man? You will get bored of that person. If you get a man that cling on and just cling on to you all the time, you get bored of him. And vice versa. You want a man or a woman to have their own mind, own thoughts, to make their own decision, and to choose you to love you. You want a woman that you have to beat to love you, that you have to force to love you, that you have to be stricken for them to have the right to do what they want to do. You want someone that's going to love you freely. I believe that's what the Creator was going after when he created us. He created us perfect. But he put our will to test. And we fail. And we fail miserably. Hold on. I don't know what's going on with this thing here. Come on. Ay, ay, ay. Why it keep coming off? The unable. Drag the picture. Ah. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Perfect. Yo, TikTok is doing this thing now where they make you put a puzzle together. I guess they're trying to figure out if it's a robot or something like that. I don't know, but they do that all. This is something new. But anyway, guys, he wanted free will, and this is why he used the word "if" when he talks to us. If you will what? Obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me. Above all people, though all the earth are mine, you shall be a kingdom of priests, a holy nation, a royal priesthood, he says. These are the words that you ought to speak to the children of Yahushua. If it's a choice, if you will do this. When he says, I'll bless you, if you obey my commands, all this blessing is going to follow you. If you disobey, all these curses are going to come upon you. It's just like it's like a father with children. When they say go to bed, turn off the TV and go to bed, they expect no fight, they expect no war. They expect you to turn off TV and go to bed. It's just like father. I mean, think about it. So in the creation of the world, this creative superpower, this eternal God created man for his pleasure, and he put him on this planet, and he gave us dominion over it, kingdom, rulership. And he commands us to replenish the earth, subdue it, So that was his intent. And then he gave us a test, and we failed it miserably. And then he left us into the world to do what we do. But because he loved us, he had a plan to redeem us back to himself. Right? And then we see the devastation of disobedience that caused death and destruction. First murder in the Bible is a brother killing his own brother. And then he let that reign for a while. And the earth becomes engulfed with disobedience to the point where the creators regret in some things. I regret making man on the planet. They cause me nothing but pain, but he loves us. And he found favor in one man. One man he found favor in, because that man obeys his laws and precepts and decrees. That means the man Noach, aka Noah, knew these commands. The earth knew these commands. He came down and he searched the hearts of men, and he realized they're evil all the time. In other words, they are disobedient all the time. You just get to that place where that's it, it's over, it's done. But because of that favor he found in the one man, he said, build an ark. The man built the ark. He was able to save his 3 sons and their wives and the earth is now, and some animals and stuff. And the earth is now devastated because all flesh has died. And now the earth is going to be repopulated. You think after the flood that mankind would serve the true and living God. So he send a rainbow as an everlasting covenant, that when he sees it, when he sees the rainbow, he'll remember his covenant. He won't destroy the earth with a flood again. And so the earth got repopulated. You think for a while they were worshiping him, but then you read in chapter 11 of Genesis, you see that Nimrod, who became a mighty hunter, decide in his heart that he's God, and that they're not going to worship the God of the God of Noah at this point, the God of Noah. They're not going to worship the God of Noah. They're not going to worship the Creator, because before that time till now, you don't hear about any other gods. Everybody know the true and living God, but they were worshiping man. They start worshiping themselves, because remember now, the temptation in the garden from the devil, the so-called Satan, was that you are gods, that you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So now that they have this temptation, and now that they have this understanding that they can become gods, men wanted to be gods. Man felt like they have the right to govern their own lives. They have the right to not obey any creator. So they make themselves up God. So Nimrod was one such man, and he was able to win the entire world population at the time. And he was in rebellion against the Creator. The Creator's commandment was to go and spread out over the planet and replenish the planet, but they decided, no, we're going to stay right here, one place. And they began to build a tower of rebellion against the Creator, in hopes that if he send the flood again, they will be saved in their strong tower. And the goal was to get up into heaven, because they build it up into the clouds. The goal was to get to heaven so they can dethrone the Creator, because they know he lives in heaven. So their goal was to dethrone the Creator. They wanted to kill God. Yahweh. He came down to see what they were doing and confound their language. Before that time, all the world spoke one language. The Creator spoke to the world in that one language, and the world curse or speak to the Creator in that one language. Then he came and confound the language, and those who could understand themselves gather themselves unto themselves and scatter out, because they wanted to disassociate themselves from those who they couldn't understand. And that's why you have nations today. You see, nations are founded geographically by language. People are separated by language, not the color of your skin, but by language. And today the world is unified again under one language, which is the English language, which is the language of rebellion. The English language is a cursed language. All language are cursed language, by the way, except the one biblical language, Gabare, which was spoken by Yahweh through our ancestors. The original Hebrew language is Gabare, before we were called Hebrews, right? And so when you look at the truth from this now, they took their rebellion across the world in their own language. That's why if you look at the gods of the people dwelling among us today, if you look at the Buddhists, the Hindu gods, the pagan gods of this world, you realize that they're all the same gods. Different name, different culture, different language. Zeus, who is the god of the Greek god, is Ra, the god of the Egyptian. You see what I'm saying? It's all the same gods. They're all the same gods, just different name over different geographical sector of the world, different languages. And so the people worship false gods. And the whole world is in worship of these gods in their native tongues. What is the creator to do? He said he's not going to destroy the world with flood again. He's going to do something different. So what he decided to do, he decided to make his name great or known through a single man that he called from the land of the Chaldeans, and his name is Abram. And he made a covenant with Abram, a promise. He said, listen, you walk before me and be blessed. I am your ever great reward. Nations gonna come through you. Kings are gonna come through you. All the world will be blessed through you. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. And he made a covenant with Abram when he had no children. See, it's the creator who did not bless him with children because he had a plan. You understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? The creator sets up the setup. And so now the creator is dealing with the world through this one man. All the world worship other gods. And that's why you hear the creator is now pronouncing, there's no God before me. Besides me, there was no God formed. But who is he talking to? He's talking to a people who was led into Egypt and became slaves into Egypt, who worship many gods. The Egyptian, some say the Egyptian has over 300 gods. They got a god for every calamity, every natural prospect, like the wind, the fertility, the sun, the lightning, the rain, the harvest. They have a god for everything. And so after 250 years of this, the children of Maycha'al, though they remember the God of their fathers, it wasn't in their eyes a sin to worship more than one God. The Egyptians did it. The Chaldeans did it. The Canaanite did it. The Philistine did it. All the nations around them worship other gods, multiple gods. So the concept of a single God was only brought forth through the children of Maycha'al. All the world worship multiple gods. They just place some higher than some. And so the creator himself, Yahweh, proclaimed, there's no God before me. Before me, there was no God formed. You notice he said form. No God formed before me. He's the everlasting God. The beginning and the end. There's no God before him. So when you look at his proclamation, when you look at his statement, he's making a bold statement, but he's making it to those who he call his children. Watch this now. Let's see here. Where we are. Where we are. I name you, equip you. Besides me, there is no God. Verse 5 here. I am Yahweh, and there is no other. Besides me, there is no God. I equip you. Do you know, though you know me not, that people, watch this, I equip you that people may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am Yahweh, and there is no other God. I form the light and create darkness. I make dwell being and create calamity. I am Yahweh who does all these things. Showers, shower, shower, O heaven from above, and let the clouds rain down righteousness. Let the earth open, and salvation and righteousness may bear fruit. Let the earth cause them both to sprung. I, Yahweh, have created it. Woe to him who strive with him who form him. A pot amongst earthen pots. Does the clay say to him who form it, what are you making? Or your work has no handle? Woe to him who say to the father, to a father, what are your begetting? What are you begetting? Or a woman, with what are you, or what are you in labor? With what are you in labor? Thus say Yahweh, the Holy One of Maycha'al, and the one who formed him. Ask me one thing and come. Will you command me concerning my children and the work of my hand? I made the earth and create man on it. It was my hand that stretched out the heavens, and I command all these their hosts. I stirred him up in righteousness, and I will make all the way level. He shall build my city, and shall and set my exile free, not for price or reward, saith Yahweh. He's talking about the ravenous bird here. Thus saith Yahweh, the wealth of Egypt and the merchandise of Cush and the Sardians, men of stature, shall come over to you and be yours. They shall follow you. They shall come over in change and bow down to you. They will plead with you, saying, surely Yahweh is in you, and there is no other. Man, let me tell you something, man. This creator have something to show. He has something to prove. Not that he has to prove it, but he does. He's telling us who he is. And so when you understand that he's dealing only with the children of Yahushua, he's not dealing with the world. Even the Messiah who came said, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Yahushua. He wasn't sent to the world. The true Messiah was sent only to the lost sheep. This message is not for the world. It is for those who understand. Come on here, man. We must understand this. That's why all through the Bible, thus saith Yahweh, he sent his prophet to his people. He sends his prophet to his people, from his people, by his people, for his people, to his people. We do not worship the God of this world. We do not worship him through religion or any entity. We worship him through a covenant of obedience, a promise made to our forefathers and his descendants forever. So if you're not worshiping him through his covenant, you're worshiping a false god. We worship Yahweh, our Elohim, our creator. You do not worship Jesus Christ. He's not your God. You do not worship Allah. He's not your God. You do not worship Buddha. He's not your God. You do not worship Krishna. He's not your God. You do not worship the hosts of heaven. They're not your God. You do not worship the government of this earth. They're not your God. You do not worship Dagon. That's not your God. You do not worship Baal. They're not your God. Stop worshiping idols. Stop worshiping the creation of your hands. Stop worshiping false gods. You will be destroyed by it. Your God is Yahweh. This is who you must obey. This is who you must worship. If you are worshiping any other entity, your life will be snatched up from you. If you can trace your lineage, your ancestry through the transatlantic slave trade, Yahweh of Maycha'al is your God. What is his name? Yahweh. What is his name? Yahweh. What is his name? Yahweh. Yahweh is his name. And in the words of Gabare, Mashamo, that means what is his name? Mashamo. Mashamo. Yahweh Shamo. Yahweh is his name. That is the name of your God. That is the God you ought to worship. Not Jesus Christ, not some Trinity God or Trinity concept. Hear, O Yahweh, Yahweh, your Elohim is one God. We worship a single God who is creator of heaven and earth, who is the one that is subduing the earth and turning it upside down because of the inhabitants thereof. I leave you with this scripture. But before I give you the scripture, go make sure you go check out the Ravenous Bird on YouTube. I leave you with the scripture in the book of Yeshaya or Isaiah 24. It's a very, very important scripture here. Isaiah 24. Behold, 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 Yahweh make the earth empty and make it waste and turn it upside down and scatter abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be like as people so with priests, so with the pastors, as with servant, so with master, as with maid, so with mistress, as with buyer, so with seller, as with lender, those with borrower, as with taker of usurer interest, so with giving of usurer and interest. The land, the earth, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled. For Yahweh has spoken this word. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know anything about the Creator, I want you to know this one thing. His word he will not break. He says, my covenant will I not break, nor alter the things that gone out of my lips. The mouth of Yahweh has spoken it. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The earth, not just a part of it, the whole earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languish and fadeth away. The hazy place of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore has a curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burnt, and a few man left. It's a warning. This prophecy has not come true yet. This has nothing to do with the flood. This is way after the flood. This is what's coming upon the earth. And so if you can trace your lineage to the Atlantic slave trade, there is a warning for you. And what are the warning? What are the warning? Let's go to Revelations. Revelations 18. Let's go to Revelations 18. Revelations chapter 18. And let's start there. After this, I saw another angel descending from heaven with great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his glory. And he cried out in a mighty voice, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a lyre for demons and a haunt of every unclean spirit and every unclean bird and every detestable beast. All the nation have drunk the wine of the passion of her immorality. This means the whole earth is deceived by her. The whole earth by her has worshipped other gods. The whole earth by her is in sin. The kings of the earth were immoral with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown wealthy from her extravagance of her luxury. Then I heard another voice from heaven saying, watch this. Here's the warning. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Come out of her, my people. My people. If you can trace your lineage to the Atlantic slave trade, he's calling you. Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins or contact any of her plagues, for her sins are piled up to heaven, and Yahweh has remembered her iniquities. Give back to her as she has done to you. Pay back double for what she has done. Mix her double portion in her own cup. As much as she has glorified herself and lived luxurious, give her the same measure of torment and grief. In her heart she says, I sit as queen, and I am not a widow, and will never see grief. Therefore her plague will come in one day, death and grief and famine, and she will be consumed by fire. For Mighty is Yahweh who judge her. Famine is coming to the west and all her allies. Death and destruction is coming to the west and all her allies. And the Creator has called you to come out of her. Now, let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, ladies and gentlemen, and hear what the prophet has to say. Surely the Creator will do nothing than to reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophet. So, what does the prophet have to say? Um, so let's see here. Let's see. How is this going to happen? You're hearing the word, and you might be thinking there's going to be a mass exodus, and you might be waiting for the mass exodus. There will not be a mass exodus. Here's how it's going to be. Return. This is Jeremiah 3:14. Return, O faithless children. Return, repent, come home. Return, O faithless children, declares Yahweh. For I am your master, and I will take you. How is he going to do it? I will take you, one from a city and two from a family, and bring you to Zion. Then I will give you shepherd after my own heart, who will feed you with knowledge and understanding. How is he going to do it? One from a city and two from a family. I will take you, he said, one from a city and two from a family. Let's look at the next prophet here, Micah. Micah 2. Micah chapter 2 and verse 10 and 11. Micah chapter 2. Arise and depart. I will take you. But how is it going to happen? Arise and depart, for this is not your place of rest, because it defileth. Because it defilement bring destruction, a grievous destruction. If a man of wind were to come and say falsely, I will preach to you of wine and strong drink, he would be just the preacher for this people. In other words, people are telling you lies. They're giving you wine and strong drink, which is false doctrines, and you just suck on it. But the Creator is trying to tell you, they brought you Jesus and tell you he's coming from the sky to save you, and you're going to meet him in the air, but you don't know the prophecies. There's no prophecy in Toyota, in Old Testament about that kind of stuff. You must save yourselves. No one is coming to save you. You must save yourself. Arise and depart. Where must you go? Not to Africa. Africa is the first nation that sold you into slavery. You must go to Cebu, Philippines. You must come to us here in the wilderness. You must be where the Creator said you must be. Here's what you do not know. Come 2025, the doors to traveling is going to shut like it did in the 2019, 2020. Do you know that 2019 marks a 400-year span of enslavement? From 1619, when the first slaves enter the Americans, to 2019 is 400 years of enslavement. Enslavement of the body and enslavement of the mind. Because you were emancipated to thinking you're free, and they free your body, but they captivate your mind. You're still a slave. You own no governmental structure. You have no hospitals, no food structure for economics. You're a slave. Everything you own belongs to your slave masters. Your jobs, your money, everything you own belongs to the government of your slave masters. You're still a slave. And because you can run around in the cage, you think you're free. True freedom is when you're in the arms of Yahweh. True freedom is when you're under the protection of his wings. But if you stay in the land of your enslavement, you will be devoured by her plagues and her sins. Just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, the Creator has to wisp out. Has to wisp out. And how did he do it? One from a city, two from a family. One family and one disobedient woman that looks back. Always the woman that disobeys. Obey, man. Obey your peer. Obey your masters, your husband, as they lead you to Yahweh. Only 4 people was taken from those 2 cities. Lot, his 2 daughters, and his wife. And 1 looked back. So, ladies and gentlemen, 1 from a city, 2 from a family. He's doing the same thing. Now, after he do that, after he whisked them out, what happened? And we are the ones, the remnant that is going to be saved. The remnant that was given wings to fly out into the wilderness where we'll be nourished. We're here and we're waiting Yahweh's word to be fulfilled, because he's going to show the world that who he is, who we are. He's doing this for his glory, which is us. For his name's sake, which is him. You're going to see, come 2025, a new pandemic is on the rise. He did say he's going to send famine, did he not? In Revelation 18. When a pandemic comes along, what do you think happened? A famine. The 2019 pandemic was a famine to get you to take something against your will. When they take away your food and your job, you quickly take those, you quickly obey your masters. And now you're carrying a messenger virus in your system. The truth is the truth. Come 2025, you're going to see people dropping dead. Like, people going to be dropping dead. The news are just not covering it, but people are dropping dead now. But more than that, you're going to see disasters like you've never seen them before. You're going to see earthquake after earthquake. You're going to see earthquake in diverse places. You're going to see tornadoes and hurricanes. You're going to see famines. Right now in China, as big as they are, as powerful as they are, as technology-wise, as great as they are, as wealthy as they are, their water is drying up. Their water is drying up. Who you think drying up the water? You see, no man can take credit for what the Creator is going to do. See, if man can take credit, then the Creator is not going to get the credit. He's going to do things that no man can take credit for. China's water supply is being depleted. What do you think is going to happen to that country when they have no water? Then it's going to cause war, because they're going to go to the place where they can get the water. And wherever they can get the water, they're going to fight. They're going to cause war. That's why the Messiah tells us there will be rumors of war, wars and rumors of war, pestilence, earthquake, and famine. But the end is not yet. So this is not the end times. So don't think I'm here preaching end game. This is not the end times. These are the time of pain. This is the time when people, especially the West, who think they cannot be conquered, it's going to be conquered by us over here chanting and make a shout that the walls of the city will come tumbling down. Because that's what we do over here. We are worshiping the Creator in the best way we can before his tabernacle is built. You see, there's certain laws we cannot keep to its entirety before the tabernacle is built, but there's laws that we can keep. And those we can keep, we keep. And we're practicing. We're practicing for the laws that we cannot keep. So we keep up to the point where we can keep it in practice, that our generations to come may see and witness and know and learn. So when the time comes, they're ready. Because he's going to make us into a nation, the kingdom, the true kingdom of priests, a holy nation, a royal priesthood. This is the time. This is the time when the rock that is cut out of the mountain, but not by human hands, strike the statue of gold, silver, brass, wood, iron, and clay. But until the governments of this world is crumbled, the power structure of this world is crumbled, we in the wilderness has to just grow. This is where he's going to make his new covenant with us, where he's going to put his laws in our hearts and minds, and we will keep his covenant, and we will be his people. And for those who are a stranger, you cannot trace your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. Go and read Isaiah 56, because that is your way in. That is your ticket in. Isaiah 56, 1-6 really gives you the answer. But read the whole Isaiah 56. That is where your ticket lies. It's not through some guy on a cross. Trust and believe that. Watch and see for yourself. So come 2025. And the reason why we know this is because 2025 is the end of a Jubilee year. Actually, 2024. The Exodus year was 2023 when most people start coming here to the Philippines. And the stragglers will be coming between 2020, 24 into 25, early 25. Around spring, which is around March, we're expecting a blood moon, because the Creator give us his sign for us to know when these things are going to happen. He gave us a sign. So we're looking for a blood moon. We're looking for an eclipse where the moon turned to blood. When that happened, that is the sign that immediately after that, according to the prophecy, immediately after that is when we're going to witness in greater capacity the disaster that's coming. You know, my son asked me the question. He said, "Dad, what if you're wrong?" He said to me. My son asked me that question, my firstborn. What if you're wrong? He said, and nothing happened. He said, what if you're wrong and nothing happened? I looked at my son and I send him back a message, because he was text messaging me. What if you're wrong, Dad, and come 2025, nothing happens? I said, well, son, first thing first, if nothing happens, if we don't doubt the prophecies, if nothing happens, where do I want to position myself to find that out? Where do I want to position myself? A man built an ark for 120 years before there were rain on the planet. And he told the world that the Creator is going to destroy the world using a flood. And no one ever seen the rain before. Of all the prophecies that came before that time, this man is building the ark for 120 years, and he's telling the world that the Creator is going to destroy the world. No one believed him except his wife and his 3 sons and their daughters. We don't know if Noah had other sons who never came into the ark. We don't know if Noah had other daughters didn't come into ark. But we know he had family members. Noah had brothers. He had uncles and aunts and cousins. He has best friends and people he liked and cared about. He probably had some grandchildren. Who knows? But they never came in the ark. But the animals came in the ark. The birds came in the ark. The insects came in the ark. And the doors were shut. And when the door was shut, no rain came, ladies and gentlemen. You think the rain came immediately after? No rain came. Here comes day one. They're in the ark. No rain came. Day two, day three, day four, day five, day six. No rain came. They in the ark for 6 whole days. But no rain came. Where did they position themselves to find that out? Could they have doubted and opened the ark? Could the animals who were in the ark not come out the ark? You see, ladies and gentlemen, all the insects, all the birds that was in the ark was not put there by Noah. The Creator sent them. You think they would have come out the ark? If Noah and his family had gone out the ark, the birds and the animals and the insect would have stayed. You know why they would have stayed? Because the Creator sent them. And they're not disobedient. They came and entered the ark. But thanks be to Yahweh that Noah and his family stayed in the ark. Day one, no rain. Day two, no rain. Day three, no rain. Day four, no rain. Day five, no rain. Day six, no rain. But on day 7, isn't it amazing that the Creator is teaching us something through these events? 7 days after the rain came, when we march around the city, we marched the first day, nothing happened. The second day, nothing happened. The third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, nothing happened. But on the 7th day, our ancestors were commanded to march 7 times, then make a shout. But one thing I want you to see, you hear me say on the first day, nothing happened. On the second day, nothing happened. That is not true. On the first day, something happened. They were in the ark. Something happened. The ark was built and ready. Something happened. They stayed in the ark. Something always happened. But we see what happened on the 7th day. Imagine when the flood burst open and the rain started falling. Those people on the outside of the ark, what were they thinking? They were mocking and laughing. But now they're mocking and they're laughing turned to sorrows and pain. And I believe that's the same things that's going to happen to our people. Same thing's going to happen. So I told my son, like I'm telling you, where would I want to position myself to find out? And if no rain came on the first day, and no rain came on the second day, if nothing happened in 2025, I'm positioning myself in the ark. Immediately after the sun is darkened and the moon give her light. That's what the Messiah prophesied. That's what the ravenous bird is prophesying. That's why we believe. And that's why we left our families and our children and our grandchildren and everything we know to come to a strange land that we do not know, to be a nation with people we do not know, that we're knowing now to be our blood, and to be the nation that the Creator called us to be. The choice is yours. As for me and my house, I'm not leaving the Philippines. This is where I'm going to stay. This is where I'm going to die. Unless He let me live all 98 years, which would make me 150 plus years old, then so be it. I know He's going to prolong some of our lives, but I know some of us are going to die as well here. But I want to die in His will, because living outside of His will is not living at all. What are you living for? For a house? For a piece of the freaking pie? Do you really own that pie? What are you living for? To have money in the bank and can travel all the world? What are you living for? I want to live everlasting life in the will of the Creator. That's what I want to do. If I never have a cent, but I have a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food in my belly, to thoda la ya'o. Thanks be to the Creator. And He brought us here, and this is where I'm staying. So, son, if you're watching this, and for those of you who are watching, I'm positioning myself where He wants, in the ark. You've heard the message. It's a last cry for you. It's not a million-mile march. It's really for you, you who are listening to me, and I know you've heard me, and I know the rock is stirred in you. I know that Yahweh is stirring your mind. You're afraid right now. You're confused right now. You're in a very good place. But I'm telling you, start consolidating, start selling off everything, start saying goodbye, get your passport ready. Come to the Philippines, Cebu Airport, get in touch with us. Go to Maycha'al channel, yaoshral.com. YAOHSHAR.com. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with me. DM me. Say, Maycha'al, how can I get? What must I do? What must I do? You must leave. You must leave the land of your enslavement. Go get your passport. Because there's going to come a time where you can't get it. If they shut down everything in 2019, what are they going to do in 2025? You're not going to make it out. It's going to be bad, guys. A new virus is on the rise. It's called SEARS, SEAR. Go look it up. Go Google it. They're telling you it's coming. They already got it. It's coming. And they're telling you what year it's coming in. And it's coming in 2025. And this is to shut the world down. It's to keep the world under one government, one lock and key. They already practiced it in 2019. They know what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And that is to keep you locked out. So if you know what I know, before spring of 2025, you need to get your ass here. I would say don't wait, but get your butt here. Get with us, and hey, say what I got to say. All right, I'm hungry. It's what now? What time is it? It's 9:32 here. I think it's 9:32 a.m. You guys are in the p.m. You must leave the land of your enslavement. You will get no peace. It's not your rest. It will destroy you, utterly destroy you. All right, I said what I got to say to you, and now I'm going to get my smoothie. Thank you. What was this? Viral clips. Thank you, viral clips. I see you giving me all them likes and hearts. I appreciate it. I hope you. I hope you out of here. Are you're getting here? What's your story? What's your story? You're giving me all these heart. That mean you believe. You believe what I'm saying. What is your story? Viral clips. Talk to me. What is your story? Where are you? Where are you located right now? Viral clips. Where are you located? It's Maria. Maria. My sister. My sister Maria. Or another Maria. Maria. Oh, who's no? Viral clip is not Maria. Marvin White. Just join me. Viral clips. What's your name and where are you located? All right. Bye YouTube and Facebook. Peace. I'm Mika Albania Osharal, and this is Truth Matters Broadcasting. Until next time.